Bryan, it's Jody Dimling with Cardinal Authority. Can you just kind of go through kind of the transition from camp to now game week and preparing for an opponent?
Yeah, man, it's been great. Of course, fall camp was really good to us. With our defense getting a lot better than what we were in the spring as well as last fall, and now just gearing toward an opponent that's really really good offensively. I think they have one of the best quarterbacks that we'll face all season long in Malik Clark, and then it's trying to simulate that tempo. And I don't think we'll be able to simulate how fast those guys go because they go really, really fast. And we're just trying to condition our guys to, get ready for the next play immediately. No celebrating. Trying to make sure that they get the call, get lined up, and just get ready to play. Because when Ole Miss gets you in trouble, is when you're not ready. You're not ready to play. You're trying to make certain checks and things of that nature. Our guys just got to line up and play, and that's what we got to get ready to practice for the rest of the week before that game.
Hey, Bryan, Matt McGavin with Sports Illustrated. Yesterday talked about how it was necessary for the defensive guys to get lined up and get prepared for the next play. But how prepared are the coaches to quickly get in calls in and out, knowing how fast Ole Miss is going to go?
Well, I think the main and most important thing is to get a call in, as defensively for me to get a call in immediately. And, I think with, what we've seen on film, of course, they're going to do a lot of things that we have not practiced. We just got to do what we do. We just got to do what we do. I got to get the call in as quickly as possible, get the guys lined up and let them play. And I think if we can do that and be able to stay on top, it should be a pretty good football game.
Hey, Bryan, Cameron with the Courier Journal. Kind of off that, I asked Scott Satterfield this the other day. Just the experience you guys have back in guys like CJ and Chandler and Trey and really all across the board, you feel like that helps when you talk about trying to make sure you guys are lined up each and every play in the right spots?
I think so. I think when you have a veteran group like that group, even with the safety spot, both safeties have not played football for us, but you have one safety that played in our system, as well as you have, he's older. He's been with us, since the spring. You have Q Cole, who's played a lot of football. And it's like I talked to Coach Sat, earlier today during practice. I said, man, it's like he's been in our defense for a long time, because he knows what to expect. He knows the checks. And he's able to go out and play fast. And so that allows us to, our guys to kind of be a little bit more calm, cool and collected a little bit, and be able to go out and execute the defense.
Hey, Bryan, Michael McCammon from Cardinal Authority. Their passing game gets a lot of attention, but their quarterback can run the ball as well. They got a pretty good ground game. What challenges does their ground game present you guys?
They were number one in the SEC, in rushing the football this past year. A lot of people don't talk about that. They just talk about their passing game. The running game is really good, and it's not just, like you say, the running back. They motion some backs in the back, some receivers in the backfield, running some jet sweeps with them and doing certain things with the backs and receivers. Quarterback run game, when they put Plumlee back there, he can throw the football as well as run it. So I think Lane and Levy's done a tremendous job of just, putting their guys in position to be able to make plays both with the run as well as the pass.
Bryan, hey, it's Jody again. With since the last time we talked to you, Ramon was put on scholarship. Can you just kind of talk a little bit about his progression and where he's at and how cool that moment was?
It was cool, Jody. It's kind of been a long time, and Coach Sapp, of course, wanted to hold it as long as he could to try to make it, a big deal, which it was in fall camp. And that kid, since he stepped foot on this campus, all he's done is work. He hasn't said one word. All he does is work. He brings his lunch pail to work every single day. And, no matter what's in that lunch pail, he's going to eat, and he's not going to complain about it. And he's just going to work his tail off. And that's not only on the football field, but that's also in the classroom. He's over a 3.0 student. When we're over here watching film, he's always over here watching film. He's just one of those great kids, man, that that deserves the best that can possibly come his way. And with him being on scholarship, you could just tell the whole team, not just the defensive line or the defensive backs or linebackers, just the defense in general, the whole team, they knew that he deserved to be on scholarship with what they see on a day-to-day basis. And Ramon is just one of those kids, man, that you love and that you just wish that you had a lot of those guys like him that are very, very thankful for all the opportunities that they get, no matter if they're on scholarship or not. The T-shirts that they get, thankful for those. He just doesn't take anything for granted, and we're just thankful to have him on our football team.
Hey, Bryan, this is Cameron from the Courier Journal. Sorry if you answered this. My phone died and I had to switch phones. But I'm curious, with a guy like Corral, I mean, when you watch him on film, what do you relay to the secondary in terms of things you have to be careful for against a quarterback and offense like that?
Stay your butt on top because he can throw it deep. He does a tremendous job of the deep ball, man. Does a tremendous job on the underneath throws. The one thing I think he does a tremendous job of is he does a great job of looking the DBs off, and he's so quick to come back to his second and third read that is like, oh my God, you guys got to make sure you're not out of position, with your eyes, number one. So he does a great job with that, man. But he's just a really good quarterback that knows where to go with the football. You think of year one in Lane's offense, he was tremendous. Now with a year under his belt this is going on the second year, he's going to be even better. And so we just got to do some things just to try to, get him uncomfortable in a way, but also just make sure our guys are in position to make plays and to make the plays when they come their way.
Hey, Bryan, Michael McCammon again. The depth chart came out today. Malik Clark there at the nose tackle spot. I know it was a competitive, camp at that position, but what has he shown you throughout camp to really put him in that number one spot?
Yeah, Malik is he's a different animal. When you think about going into last season, with Goldwire being the guy and Malik being the number two behind him, Malik never really pushed, Goldwire for that spot. And but now it's his, and it's like he's different. I mean, he is different. I don't know how to explain it. He's just a different kid from a mental standpoint as well as a physical standpoint. He's stronger. He's quicker. And I think, again, the third year being in the scheme, understanding, the different type of techniques versus certain sets, what he needs to be aware of. He's mastering that right now. And I just look forward to him playing in the game and using all the things he's done in practice in a game setting.
Bryan, it's Jody again. It's been a long off season of a lot of changes. You guys have always been in the transfer portal. You got a lot of newcomers, a lot of transfers and all that. Now that you're here on game week, can you just speak to the guys that you got? And specifically, I guess at safety is the position of need the most. But how you guys as a staff kind of filled those needs and really guys that are going to help you out.
Yeah, I think with the transfer portal, number one, we want to start, up front, and was able to get, another nose, which we needed desperately. And in Jock Turner, who would see significant playing time as well next Monday. It was really critical in order for us to get another guy up front, because we know it's a long season. Those guys take a lot of beating up front, and we need some depth there with Goldwire leaving this past season. So we was fortunate enough to get him. Behind those guys, you got Desmond Tell, who's back, which is key for us as well. He played a lot, started some games last year. And then we got, some younger guys behind those guys that may not see playing time this year, and hopefully maybe later on in the season, but most definitely next year, like a Caleb Banks is doing phenomenal right now. A Jared Dawson is doing really good on scout team right now. He's had like 5-6 straight days where he's doing really well. So that was a position in need that we needed up front. And then when you look at the linebacker spot, with CJ and Money, man, in those spots, behind those were unknowns, and guys that are continuing to come along is, KJ Cloyd is coming along, Dorian Jones, and Jalen Alderman. Those guys are doing really well, those true freshmen with Jackson Hamilton. So we're glad to have those backers. And then, on the outside, as far as corner-wise, being able to get a longer freshman at corner, was a need that we needed, and that was Kanai Walker, and he's doing really, really well for us, and then another transfer in Trey Franklin, who will see a lot of playing time next week as well, has done tremendous picking up the scheme. And, you always want to continue to that depth. And the thing about the transfer portal, we have guys getting in and we're trying to replace them as well as you were trying to, get some freshmen. So, it's been a little difficult, but we're manning as much as we can. And then you go to the safety room with two guys that I think are, steals of this class, was Kendrick Duncan and Q Cole. And we're just so thankful and blessed to be able to have those guys on our team. And we look forward to seeing those guys perform on Monday.
Hey, Bryan.
Hey, Bryan.
Obviously, a lot of people, when they talk about Ole Miss, they talk about their pace and their spread offense. But when you look at the film of Ole Miss, what's something that stands out that maybe a lot of people don't necessarily talk about?
I think the offensive line is really good. They got a transfer in the center from Utah that I think fit in perfect with those guys and being able to move Big Ben to guard. So I think the offensive line is really, really good up front, and it's kind of similar to what Michael talked about. Is their running game. Their running game is really well. A lot of people just don't talk about it because their passing game is just phenomenal. So they play fast. Of course, everybody knows that, and they just have so many different weapons all across the field. They're not Lane and those guys are going to try to use every inch of the blade of the grass to make us cover, and all the future teams that they play cover. But I think it's their offensive line.
One more question,
Bryan.
guys.
Yeah, Bryan, Cameron again. I wanted to follow up on something you said. You mentioned Trey Franklin and Kanai. You've said in the past you think you have 5 corners you can play. The depth you have at corner, you think that will help when you're playing against an offense that wants to play so fast and spread you around so much in the secondary?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think it just, depending on the flow of the game, and the certain formations and sets and personnel groupings and things of that nature dictates a lot of that, Cameron. And so hopefully we'll be able to, do some certain things and different things in the game next week that, Ole Miss hasn't prepared for. But we'll see come Monday night.
All right.
Good.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Bryan.